coming. I'm coming. Okay, here we go. Getting started. Hold on. I've just got a second. Hold on. Oh, I gotta turn that thing on and then turn these lights on. This is always the way. This is the way. Go ahead and very flippy right now. Hold on. Hi, everybody. Hold on. I've still got my hair's all. Hold on. That's on. That's on. Flick this switch. Throw this switch. Everybody duck, because if I throw this next switch, everything may explode. I don't think it will, but fingers crossed. We may be at a point where okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I was scared for that second. I was fine. I'm fine now. I was a little nervous before, but I'm better now. And there's a lot to worry about usually. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. Hello. And happy Thursday. No show tomorrow morning or afternoon because I will be flying thanks to the holidays that are upon us. Saturday show will happen as normal, we hope. If the internet gods are good to us and the travel rig lives up to it. Thank you, patrons, for all your loving support over this time to help us build a better and more portable rig as live shows start to return. And I still intend to do the show going forward, even when I'm out and about on the road or in the middle of production-y things again and again. So there you have it. Can you tell I had my hair back into a tight ponytail for the gym today, and now it's all right. It's like I flattened it. It's great. So, where are we? Hi, welcome. There you are. There you go. Chip was just in here a second ago. You just missed him. He climbed up on my leg and was intending to go to sleep. Is he still around? Chip, you still around? He's still around. Oh, he's in the closet. Hold on. Hold on. Give me 1 second. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you in the closet? Excuse me. Excuse me, little man. Would you like to explain to these people why you were in the closet? What was happening? That you were in the closet? Why were you climbing around in there? What were you doing? Did I not sit with you long enough today and pet you? Is that what happened? All right, I got to put you outside for the show because you're too adorable and you will draw attention away. Go annoy Murphy. Hi. Okay. See, he was there. He was just. There's no getting around our little chipster. Yeah, he's a closet kitty who thinks he's a dog. He actually is our only cat that fetches. Yeah, he now fetches. So if you throw a toy, he'll go after it. Super cool. All right, now, as we were coming onto the air today, there were a lot of things that, I look over a lot of, let me see if I can find, where's the clicking of the places and the thingies in this library. There it is, history. The craziness that I end up watching just to get, oh, good Lord. So, let me see if I can pull this up without causing too much noise and finagle. There we go. This is Bloomberg, World Economic Forum. They're talking about stuff. Now, we have talked a bunch about, oh my God, inflation. Oh my God, guys. Oh, it's inflation. And then I understand. Hold on. Let me I heard all the time about inflation, which is how you make a balloon happy. And to make inflation is a bad, bad thing. All the time it get a worseage. Now, it's not a bad if you look at it from 2 years ago, because it used a percentages then. Yeah. And then, I'm very loud. I'm sorry. So, but if you use the last year, it's terrible. It's so bad. If we look at the news, think about it. If we look at the news of today and they say this year versus the last year, it's how many percentages? It's a lot of percentages. Oh, lots of percentages go up. And the percentages are automatic. Because I'll tell you what happens, okay? Just like what make you mad versus what make you happy. Like last year, I was this many. And then I do one more year, I'm a this many. And I'm a 1/5 bagel. Then I'm a 10% grow bagel. Make a 10% bagel of me in the 5 to the 6 and add a 10%. So I'm a 20% even. Oh my God, I'm getting so big. I couldn't do the math. Hey, I'm only this many. So I was this many, now I'm this many. I'm 20% bagel. Okay? 20%. That's a big portion. And that means I've grown so much. I've grown like 50 years. And so because my daddy, he was 52. And when he turned to 53, he like 0.065, he 0.72%. Not big at all. So if you look at last year versus this year, I'm older than my daddy. Because I aged 20% more than he did. He aged a little bit, and I aged a big bit. If you don't think about the number we actually talk about, what the actual age is, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm 20% older than my daddy. Isn't math fun? Math is fun. Math is spelled M-A-T-H, pronounced math. And math will be fun. Because if I was this many, and then I have a this many, if I went from this many to this many, I was 25%. Oh my God. Last year, every year, I'm getting 1 year older and yet 20% younger. No, I'm Benjamin Buttons now. If I keep aging like this, I'm going to disappear in 2 years. Oh no. I'm my own grandpa at this point. But my daddy, he's the same age, but you wouldn't even notice. He 0.65%, 0.72, 3429 if you want to get technical. Percent older this year, last year. That's right. See, that's the whole thing. I'm a 5, I can't count to 5, I just hold up my hand and say this many. That's how it works. Shut up, mean person in the chat room. Nasty, nasty man. What's wrong with you? Be nice. So if you look at the percentage of inflation, it's crazy this year. It's like the worst since my dad was 75% younger than he is right now. Right? When he was 200% older than I am. But the last time inflation is bad. Now, last time inflation is bad, of course, there are a lot fewer people, and there's not as much money in the system, and there's not many businesses, and there are no smartphones, and no Nintendos, and no Robux and Roblox. So it's different but the same. I'm just clarifying it. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat. Thank you very much. $1 for every year being alive. So I thought I would start off with some math. And now back to my daddy. Hi, everybody. So I have to say that the inflation numbers are, and the conversation about it is just jacked. We're just printing money. Inflation through the roof. It's only us and Biden, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Stop pretending we didn't just go through a goddamn pandemic and we're still kind of in it. Quit it. Don't worry. Baby Hal left the room. He's not hearing this strong grown-up language. Now, there's a lot to cover today. Shit. Some of it, you know those days I told you about when I see a piece of video and it just makes me laugh. The first frame of it just makes me crack up. And I'm like, I can't. There's just no fucking way. There's this. We got Mike Huckabee. He's got a Christmas special. It starts airing tonight, so we'll have it for the Monday show, which there will be a Monday show. Don't worry, but I'll cover it Monday. Glenn Beck is going to tell us about the Marxists. They're all he's having his own McCarthyism. It's Beckyism. Dan Bongino is freaking out about Kamala Harris again, or the same thing. We can't tell. And of course, Don Jr. has learned from last time and is now wearing a shirt that's the same color as his least virulent eye bloodshot. And then, of course, this is what I want to start off with. This is not normal programming. This is China's economy slowing more than expected, more than people think. This is a guy named Leland Miller, he's executive officer of the China Beige Book, which keeps track of China's economy, all right? And I need you guys to see some of this stuff occasionally, and I need to drag you into my personal hell as I watch the economic forums and I watch the stuff to make sure, to check myself, because I'm not an economist or didn't ever start off to be one. And yet, there's some predictions and some calls I've made based on my on-the-ground experience. And anecdotal is anecdotal, and you got to recognize, oh my gosh. Thank you, Vincent. Oh my God. I appreciate that. Inflate this. Hello. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Yes, apparently it's, and we got a level 2 hype train at the exact same time happening on Twitch, twitch.tv/AlSparks. Don't forget to subscribe, especially if you're one of Hassan Piker's kicked to the sides and you have no place to go. Welcome. I'm going to say some things that are going to upset you, but I mean well, and I'm trying to help. So in the process of this, I've been saying stuff for a while where everybody's like, oh my God, China's going to take over everything. Oh my God, they're going to eat our lunch. They're going to do all these things and there's nothing we can do. And we're absolutely screwed. And there's no way around it. And everybody says it's fine. And they're kicking our ass or we're going to be blah, blah, blah. And they're going to overtake us in 2024. No, they are not. And it's worse even than people are mentioning. Let's dive into a little of this if we can. Here we go. Hold on.
China, because of course we continue to see these conflicting messages coming from Beijing. Perhaps the China October activity data looked a little bit better. What do you think?
By the way, the conflicting stuff she's talking about is whether or not they're going to bail out Evergrande, which is a giant real estate holding company, which in China, the largest in the country. It has $300 billion in outstanding debt that it cannot pay off. It just defaulted a month ago. It defaulted and got a 30-day grace period. It just defaulted on the grace period. And the way that the people it was supposed to pay on that that debt found out was they stopped answering the phone. They pulled like, you know what you did in your early 20s when you would just ghost your debtors? That's what they did.
Health reality in China,
Yay.
The economic reality in China right now.
I think that the third quarter was particularly brutal, but the reason to invest or not invest in companies like Alibaba isn't a third quarter story. It's whether you're looking at the trajectory of the Chinese economy and whether a particular company like Alibaba can defy the fact that the economy is going to be slowing down quite dramatically. Retail sales haven't looked good for a while. They're probably not going to look good going forward, but Alibaba is a pretty impressive company. So the question is,
by the way, Alibaba is the Chinese Amazon, and a lot of the cheaper products you see on Amazon are effectively drop shipped through Amazon. People in the United States set up an account. They fill out like, hey, buy this water pitcher for $40. It costs $3. They arrange like a trade essentially where Amazon fulfills the order for them by ordering that $3 pitcher or maybe 10 of them if they want to, if they're really investing in something. Amazon hangs on to that for a while, fulfilled by Amazon. It sits in their warehouse for a certain amount of time, and then they will either junk it back or if it doesn't sell, or they'll move it on. And if you don't have that many of them, a lot of times you'll be able to sell them. But a lot of people, there have been a lot of people become millionaires in the last few years doing this particular trick where they buy stuff on Alibaba, sell it on Amazon as this bounce through. So Alibaba, I mean, you could buy everything you see on Amazon on Alibaba plus buildings and giant like military jets. It's fucking ridiculous. And most of it is crap. 85% of the stuff on there that isn't a DJI drone is garbage. But people have been doing this for a while. That's drying up because of the supply chain issues, and a lot of those factories are moving out. So you're seeing a lot of these items are now coming in from Indonesia, South Korea, the Czech Republic, everywhere that people can move to get slightly better, like it'll be slightly more expensive as far as the wages there, but more reliable shipping and possibly higher quality items. Now that's baked into the cost of stuff. So some of the inflation you're going to see is we used to make it using slave labor in China. We're not willing to do that anymore. So we're moving it to someplace where it's really cheap because the country that it's being built in, when they go like, people here live on $5 a day, that's like you could buy $60 US worth of goods on that. And that's a lot. So we'll get to that in a second. Okay, here we go.
If you've got this long-term slowdown, a slowdown that for the most part is not yet baked in by most analysts, it's going to...
Right. Now, remember that. The slowdown in the Chinese economy is not ever. Most economists talking about China's economy are saying it's kind of fucked right now. They're saying it's kind of fucked without mentioning or adding into their equation the general slowdown in the economy. They're blaming, power outages, COVID, and other stuff. But there's a huge consumer drop as well.
More precipitous than people think. Then can Alibaba defy the odds and still transcend, even though the economy is slowing more than people?
No.
And it will be so difficult right now, given, of course, the regulatory crackdown that Alibaba is facing. And I know that you and I will have this conversation later on. And
what she means by regulatory crackdown is that millionaires and billionaires bad, and some of them are going to re-education camps, and that they are dividing these companies up or taking them over by the state. It's fucking frightening. And again, are you a millionaire if you can't take your money out of the country? I would say no. I would say it's all puffery.
Panel about China and global capital markets, but how will this affect the long-term vision of where China goes from here, especially if you're really hampering these big tech giants? Mm-hmm. Is it going to have an impact on innovation and entrepreneurship?
Well, if they destroy the tech giants, it's gonna hurt innovation. If
you think?
How they thread the needle and sort of open up the ecosystems like they're doing with Alibaba and Tencent, making them interoperable. There are some positives that can come out of this. But I think that the most important thing is that this hasn't ended. I think a lot of people think this may have been a 2021 story, or it may have been, a drop in the pan, and then President Xi has moved on. This is all in the run-up to the Party Congress next fall. So the idea that Alibaba got punished, here's the new reality, and things aren't going to get worse going forward, I think that's a very bold statement to make.
Well, what he means by bold statement is that's bullshit, just so you know.
Given that we're seeing the property curbs as well continue, right?
Right. Well, I think what we're seeing right now is not.
And property curbs is they don't. There's this new push from Xi Jinping that real estate is for living in, not for investing in. And right now, the only thing you can invest in China is real estate. So that's where everybody puts their money. And now they're just kind of turning it to zero. Imagine if tomorrow, and remember this, by the way, when they call Biden a tyrant, or tell you that the U.S. government and the Fed have total control over your economics and they can just destroy you in a second, which is what Glenn Beck says all the time with the Great Reset bullshit. China's actually doing a Great Reset right now. And the rest of the countries in the world that actually do have functioning economies like ours are going, fuck that.
Normal Chinese downturn. We're seeing a paradigm shift that we haven't seen in 10, 20 years. I think this is some of the most interesting time to be looking at the data. So if you look at China Beige Book data,
Yes, very interesting. 很有意思.
Seeing enormous de-risking going on in the financial sector, enormous de-risking going on in the property sector, which has now become evident to everyone because of the Evergrande crisis.
By the way, de-risking. Dude, there's 90 million empty, unfinished condos. They're not apartments, they're condos built in China. Nobody in them, built with, they call them tofu drag or tofu dung, depending on how you look at it, apartments. They're falling apart right now. People have poured their nest eggs in them, and they're just looking for the next big sucker. Basically, you have 90 million meme stock apartments.
This is not something where they're going to register a little bit of a downturn and then zip things back up with stimulus. I think the growth playbook has changed, and because the growth playbook has changed, we're going to be looking at much lower growth going forward, and it's going to be
the growth playbook. What he means is they are literally snipping the hamstring of anybody who decides they want to do more than walk.
Because the party is okay with that.
Exactly. I was going to ask, how comfortable is Beijing with this? Because, of course, we know they could do so much more in the stimulus side of things.
Well, this is what's frustrated Wall Street for the last 2 years. They saw COVID recovery. It was uneven. They said, OK, we're going to see a retail bounce back. It didn't happen. It was never going to happen in our data. But when it didn't happen, everyone was saying, oh, there'll just be stimulus. We're expecting a big stimulus because that's what they always do. There was no big stimulus. There's no broad policy easing.
You know why? Because with what?
The reason for that is the leadership has decided right now that there's only so much more road that they can push. And it's much more advantageous for them to get ahead of this, to slow things down, to work towards slower, healthier growth of the Chinese economy.
And I love this. U.S.-China flashpoints, Taiwan and human rights, like they're separated. And then semiconductors, trade, and big tech. First of all, they're flushing all this down the toilet. All the companies that aren't building like military level tech are just being like blown up, including Alibaba. I mean, it's just basically, the online sales is really just like a society tracking device. And Biden getting out ahead of the cart saying we will defend Taiwan has everything to do with semiconductors and the fact that the Taiwan Semiconductor Company is building a factory in Arizona as Intel has expanded their 3 factories to 5. We are going to be a majority chip manufacturer. Biden's going to do in the next 3 years for chip manufacturing what Trump alleges that he did with energy independence. We are going to be in North America chip independent going into the next 2 decades.
Rather than try to deal with the consequences of just keep pushing this model to its limits.
Basically being a bit more serious about the deleveraging efforts that they've carried out for a number of years now, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens then to these, say, local governments? Because we know that there's so much hidden debt there. Okay,
and that's the other part. So as a way of hiding how much debt, the $300 billion that's on the books about Evergrande, provinces, like think of it as big cities and governments. In the United States, they have to take out bonds. And a lot of those you have to either the city council or the actual voters have to vote on bond initiatives. These are all done under the table. And for Beijing to think that they're meeting quotas as far as money they're taking in, they will lease land back to themselves, effectively being their own Fed. So all the shit people say about, the Fed is printing money through quantitative easing, which is horseshit and another story for another time. AliExpress is just the smaller, more consumer-friendly version of Alibaba. It's the same company. Imagine if every state in the United States had its own Fed to just print money, quote unquote, to quantitatively ease themselves stuff while telling none of the other states. Think about how fucked up that would be. All right.
Well, this is a problem because when property is falling as a growth driver, what is the replacement growth driver? Under their breath, people say, oh, domestic consumption will somehow rise to keep it. That structurally, nothing is being done to empower consumption. Investment's falling, but consumption's not being empowered right now. You're not seeing
and you're
state
not paying
assets.
Attention to the retail sales numbers that we keep
Well, you look at the
upon.
retail sales. Retail has been weak. It continues to be weak. But structurally, what is the government doing to empower consumers right now that it wasn't before? It's not increasing their purchasing power by ramping up the value of the yuan. It's not transferring.
Wait, the yuan is at a 6-year high.
But it's within a little comfortable stability level, which they like. They're not transferring state assets to the household sector. So nothing big is being done. And the question is that if you don't have...
Yeah, so the one area they have is they could devalue their currency, which is what their trade partners are all pissed about. So you could piss off all your trade partners. Well, guess what? Here's a pop quiz, kids. And this has got a... What do you think in the import-export? Does China take in more stuff than it sends out? In general, what do you think? It probably feels like a trick question. What do you think? You think China buys more stuff from other countries than it sends out? No, it does not. No, they don't export more. They assemble things there. The manufacturing hub of China is a slapping shit together. They get more stuff from outside the country and it goes into the country. They assemble things, they get paid to assemble stuff. But all the stuff that you see that says made in China, a good portion of it, especially the higher level electronics, the chips and other stuff are made in other places. And then they are shipped to China, where they are added to some of the stuff that they have, the plastic cases, the boxing and all that kind of stuff. They assemble it in these factories at Foxconn, for example, and then they send it out. And they also, on top of that, yes, they take in raw materials, lots of commodities. And the more commodities they take in, the more their external debt gets as well, because they can't do all that assembly they're doing for everybody else without that cheap labor and that extra stuff. So, I mean, it's a deeper conversation, but in the broad strokes, super important for people to know. And I just don't I don't think anybody pays attention to this shit.
Sort of rise in order to pick up the slack. Where are you going to get the growth from? And I think the idea right now is, look, you've got all these companies out there, they're making a lot of money. Maybe through the back door you start doing dividends in order to fund the social agenda, and that's where it gets dicey when you're trying to look at investing in some of these companies.
We see all of these international companies, especially banks, right? The big Wall Street banks rushing into China. What's the risk there?
Well, look, for them, this is a beautiful scenario. They're being invited in. There's enormous opportunity. It's one of the few sectors where Beijing is saying, come in, make some money, let's do it. And by the way, go back to D.C. and tell...
By the way, and China needs U.S. currency to pay its bond payments throughout the companies, because all these companies that owe money, interest payments in U.S. dollars are 50% plus owned by the government. So the government needs U.S. cash coming in at all times. That's why they want them in the banking sector.
Not to be mean to China. So, look, I don't blame any of my friends here. There are many of them here at the conference who are saying the same thing. They're like, look, let's invest in China. It's a beautiful time to be doing it. I think if you are the financial sector, there are opportunities. If you're outside the financial sector, the opportunities are very limited.
Yes, if you're not a cash shuffler that makes their money with bullshit day trading and swinging, where you can bail out quickly, then yeah, don't.
Financial opportunities there when we continue to see this sort of decoupling, more regulatory measures coming, not only from the U.S. pressuring China, but also within China.
Sure, the pressures are everywhere. So in China, the Chinese model, if we look back, is that they want capital flows, but they also want expertise. And when they get the expertise and they figure it out themselves, then these firms are going to be pushed aside. So, if you go in, you have to go in with very open eyes. This is a very difficult market to operate in. The government would prefer domestic firms in any chance it has to put its hand on towards domestic firms. So you have to really watch it. The short-term gains are not worth doing long-term stupid things.
There you go. This is so crucial, because so many. This is actually, at their economic forum, this is not something that's not being spoken of in all these corners. And when you hear Mitch McConnell and all these people about how clamoring that Biden's sucking up to China and blah blah, everybody is fucking bailing out of China right now, because they're using slave labor for cotton specifically, and they're forcing thousands of Uyghurs to go down and work in factories in Shenzhen and the like. They're replacing some of their, missing and dead workers from COVID this way. It's fucking horrifying. And yes, and the US dollar is stable and solid as a rock and will be for a very long time. And and the quantitative easing that's happening, that they've done over the last little bit, and the idea that we're supposedly printing money because of the debt we take on long term, especially when it comes to infrastructure, which is an obvious return investment. May I remind you that the 2009 bailout that Obama, and Biden oversaw made money. It got all of the money that was lent out by the taxpayer back, and it earned interest. So this is one of those things, like, just having some of this detail in your head when you're seeing some of the other stuff that's being thrown around, as far as just your kind of blue jean bullshit coming from Glenn Beck. Yeah. I mean, and there's so much of this. Like, everybody is going, is running for the hills right now. And a lot of it has to do with consumer sentiment in the United States, that the American consumer is willing to pay more if you're not paying for slave labor. And don't talk to me about fucking forced labor. It's slavery. If you are forced to work and you cannot leave and your life is on the line, that's slavery. And the fact that it's fucking cotton, I don't know why the hell that isn't just part of the regular news cycle here all the time. You don't get it? Literally, they're fucking, it's slavery, and they're using it for cotton. And so the clothing that you get from there, unless there are specific limitations, will contain slave-grown and collected cotton. No, we fought a war in this country against that kind of shit. And we're not the only other country that's getting out. I'm just saying, and there is no out for this. This is coming. I said 6 years ago that I was like, the Chinese economy has 6 to 10 years. I think COVID sucked 3 years out of that collapse. I think it shortened that time. And I think a lot of people are seeing that as well. So part of this is just a flex on me saying I told you so again, but also I just want you guys to be informed on sort of what's going on economically in the rest of the world, and that some of the inflation bottlenecks, what you hear about supply chains, part of the supply chain thing was a backup because of stuff that was waiting to be shipped across the ocean and brought here, and was, we were going to have empty shelves because of that shit. Part of it is because factories are relocating. South Korea, Japan just pulled major firms out of China, and they're going to make their stuff at home now because of they don't trust the government, the Chinese government, for one, but also because they found out that slave labor was being used. That's why it was so cheap. And they're like, we're not willing to pay for that. And the other thing is this is how it ties to inflation. Then I'll get on to the topic at hand. The price was always baked in. Prices are not higher now. They were artificially cheap. And what was added into that price was slavery in exchange for lower cost goods. You always pay for it. There is no free lunch. The idea that things cost what they cost should not be shocking to everyone's financial picture. It's gross. All these cheap goods we were getting for the last 20 years especially, they had a cost. It's exactly like gas. Gasoline in the United States does not cost $1.89 or $3.50 or $6 or $11 at that one station in California. It costs somewhere in the order of $15 to $20 a gallon, but we subsidize it with our tax dollars because of the money made on it, because people can drive where they need to drive and trucks can go where they need to go. That subsidy creates $20 worth of wealth on top of that in the economy. It's been worth it. But not because gas is cheap, but because we recognize we needed that gas to do all the stuff that we do for decades. And so we subsidized the cost of it to keep it artificially low so that people could get about starting businesses and shipping shit and making things and delivering them. And it kept that us subsidizing gasoline through tax breaks to oil companies, through subsidizing gas stations being put all over the fucking country, and through our highway system, instead of building a giant train system or some shit that if it breaks down, we're all fucked and nobody can get anywhere until they get that train off the tracks. We went for flexibility, which is smart, especially when you're developing. We took down the price of gas. We, as taxpayers, decided we wanted gas stations every 50 miles minimum. We did that, the taxpayer, through subsidies of a particular industry. Where how they talk about solar and wind, like, oh, they're picking winners and losers. What the fuck do you think we did with gas? We picked a winner. We chose petroleum over kerosene or whatever options we may have had. May I remind you, the first person ever to be hit by a car and killed was run over by an electric car. There were electric cars a long time ago. But we went with gas because of the range. And even then, we had range anxiety. Again, all the horror movies and all that kind of stuff. And we decided, as a country, that our tax dollars would go to building gas stations all across this fucking country through subsidies and support of cities. And it worked. And every $15 gallon of gas that we drove down to $1 or $2 or whatever paid us $20 in dividends. And since 2000 alone, the U.S. economy has doubled. More than doubled from like $11 trillion in GDP in 2000. It is now at 24 trillion in GDP with no reason to slow down. And China was going to overtake us. And that's what everybody was telling, that's what everybody was saying. And it's not happening. Oil corporations and advertising agencies brainwashed America. No. We participated in this, us. There was no alternative. The only part that was brainwashed about it is that we forgot about the part we played in this. So there you go. Anyways, so I need you to factor this in when everybody's like, why are we building electric stations everywhere with the consumer there? You should let the market decide. We didn't let the market decide with gas. We made that investment in ourselves. We can do it with electrical cars as well. It's not even brain surgery. So there you go. Anyways, that's my little financial lecture at the beginning of this as we dive into some of this nonsense. I mean, let's jump in because remember, electric cars, windmills, all that kind of stuff, that's Marxism. That's communism. The taxpayer deciding that we want our tax dollars to support better technologies that we all use that are improved by the market once we kind of settle on one, instead of us having, sections of the country that run on diesel with leaded gas, and then in the north they're running on fucking ethanol or some shit. We are the United States of America. We make group decisions about our society through what where our tax dollars will go through our elected representatives. None of it is socialism. None of it is communism. This is so aggravating. It's so great. If we, where we go one, we go right.
Elon Musk, yesterday, he was named the Time Magazine's 21 Person of the Year.
Yes, still waiting to see if he's actually a person. Secondly, do not forget, in relation to my earlier conversation, that Glenn Beck thinks electric cars are terrible and will destroy the country.
So, Elizabeth,
he also thinks that NASA, which funded SpaceX by having a public-private partnership, something that Beck has also decried, getting us to space cheaper, using, by the way, all the advances that NASA made with taxpayer dollars for years and years and years to build on that. They didn't invent it from fucking scratch. They used all the research done by NASA for decades and decades.
Warren tweets, let's change the rig tax code so the person of the year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off everyone else. Musk followed up saying, stop projecting. You remind me of when I was a kid and my friend's angry mom would just randomly yell at everyone for no reason. In another...
That is her profile.
It is.
By the way, for the record, also, while I'm interjecting in this conversation, Tesla would not exist but for the Obama bailout. The funds for Tesla as a startup electric car company were in the bailout because the big three were getting bailed out because they were hit very hard by the credit default swap crash of Hank Paulson and George W. Bush. And so we decided, we should give a couple of these other ones legs up. And they were, Tesla at that time was what you would call shovel ready. They had one car out. But we were actually, is it very low? Sorry. I don't know why they all got turned down. That Elon Musk's company, Tesla, would not exist without the American taxpayer deciding that they wanted to give them a leg up.
It is. She's angry.
She's always angry in that voice.
Yeah, and you guys are smooth talkers who are always happy. What the fuck are you talking about? You're pricks to each other.
No.
I mean, this is why, of course, she didn't even come close to winning the primary.
I think she did better than Kamala, didn't she?
I mean, that's not a standard, though,
Okay,
is it?
all right.
Is that really the standard you're shooting for?
In another tweet, he said, "Oh, please don't call the manager on me, Senator Karen."
And again, Glenn Beck does not support Tesla and thinks that the electric Ford F-150 is a travesty.
And I love this guy because he says out loud what a lot of people think. And he is a guy I have real problems with at times.
Is that how you're going to address it right now? A guy you have real problems with at times, but he says the things that people are thinking. Like smoke weed every day.
Because now he's saying, no subsidies should be available. Well, after he got his subsidies. So is he kicking the door behind him?
Yes, he is precisely doing that. And you're bumming out Stu because Stu just realized that he just walked into a nest of fish hooks.
Everybody else? Or has he really had a change of heart? Hopefully he's really had a change of heart.
What the fuck do you mean had a change of heart? He doesn't want his company competing with the other solo electric car companies that will get benefits and Ford and the other companies that are doing full electric vehicles in the process. He wants to be the only game in town. He was counting on it, as a matter of fact, as part of his stock price. That was one of the reasons why the Tesla stock price was going up, was the idea that they were building all these electric trucks. Remember the electric Mack truck looking, they were going to sell that to the government fleet. The whole purpose of all those was not to sell them to, single service, truckers across the country, but they would get a giant fleet order from the U.S. government in the billions upon billions of dollars. Well, how do you do that if everybody else has got a really cool? What if there was an electric F-150 can pull 100 other F-150s or a whole fucking train? How much is it to modify a Mack truck back and put it in the center of one of those things from Ford? And now you've got an easier truck that charges faster than the one he was building.
But I don't know. But here's what I want.
Well, that's the truest thing Glenn Beck has ever said. He doesn't know.
Here's what I want to talk to you about. I'm not sure if the people that we have, quote unquote, coming over to our side.
No, who's coming? Nobody's coming over to your side. Hating the people you hate for, or being a wise ass to one of them doesn't mean that they're on board with eliminating women's rights or any of this other shit. He's just a rich prick who wants to keep his. And the dude has actually been in the process of inventing some stuff that will be reusable beyond his lifetime. Unlike you, Glenn.
Have actually really changed, other than they realize their side is really dangerous now.
Yeah, that's what it is. Their side, meaning Elizabeth Warren, who lost to the guy who won and partnered with somebody they just made fun of, but their side, I see.
So in other words, are they like Republicans that joined the Tea Party that realized,
oh, you mean lunatics?
I gotta be out of this Republican Party because they don't stand for anything. And we realize that. And while we torch the Republican Party, many of us will still vote for the Republican Party.
Oh, I see. So basically, you're just gonna you'll show up at the dick swinging game of golf, but you'll just putt, I guess. What do you mean we torched them and then we voted for them? This is what happens when clickbait becomes language.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not sure if these guys have.
He's doing it again. Looking at the fucking ceiling. The last couple of days, he's been like, how do I fill these gaps in my understanding of shit and keep people from knowing that I'm absolutely bullshitting?
Had a real awakening to our argument, or they're now seeing the people they've been standing in the room with, and they're like, I don't want to be with these people.
None of that is happening. Elizabeth Warren tweeted Elon Musk. Elon Musk hit back at her on Twitter because that's 80% of what goes on Twitter. The fuck does this have to do with the fact that you left the Republican Party for the Tea Party and still vote for Republicans, so they know you mean business?
This is crazy. And so they've revealed themselves as the true, more libertarian liberal.
He means weed-smoking Republicans.
They always have been.
What do you mean? Yes, he never gave a shit about anybody. Dude was born in South Africa. His seed money initially came from like conflict diamonds and stuff. That's the most Republican thing about him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I totally see what. Stu gets it. Yeah, I see what you mean. Don't you see what I mean? I see what you mean. What?
The Overton window is back
hard.
in effect here. We talked about this with Bob Costas the other day, who,
right?
He had this call with Jim Garrity, who had criticized him for some of his monologues about guns and the Washington Redskins team name, and said he was, as we did as well, that Bob Costas seems like a crazy liberal, and Costas called up and said, "Hey, I'm not that guy. I'm not far left," and just the fact that he would want to disagree with being outed as someone.
Dude, he's calling bullshit on you guys. Everybody is a lunatic. Anybody who wants, paid family leave as is a communist to this fucker. Adding 2 years of optional community college for free to people who want to get either, an educational head start on their university degree, or wants to go take a vocation and get a fucking job that no high school could possibly prepare you for, because they have a generalized sense of education which aimed at, an overall math, reading, science, just a generalized, a a generalized degree as a high school graduate. The G to the E to the D, yo. That option that the state, knowing that we need functional workers who are going to have to work at more technically advanced jobs, unless we want to move manufacturing back and dumb down the entire electorate to where nobody's qualified to do anything but slap a sticker on a piece of plastic and move it down the line, which was never the point.
Is far left indicates he probably isn't far left, because AOC never.
Dude, oh my fucking God. No, he's pointing out that you're a liar, Stu.
And says, no, I'm really not socialist. That's not what these people do anymore. That's a.
Who's these people? Bob Costa? He's a fucking reporter.
Old era of liberal.
And what's weird is they are now separating themselves. They were the ones who would have said Glenn Beck's crazy, saying that.
Well, they still do. Yeah, I mean, he even called in to say, you're fucking crazy. Stop calling me a Marxist because I'm asking normal questions, you lunatic.
He's a Marxist, you know.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they still think that. We all think you're a fucking lunatic.
Not Marxist. When, you know, Newsweek magazine ran the headline, we're all socialists now.
Yes, you mean Newsweek magazine, the one that like 3 times a quarter runs stories about, was Jesus it really Mary's brother? Is Mary really a historical figure, or is she a collection of people? Is the cross really, wasn't he really nailed to a tree? Like, that Newsweek is clickbait. It's the same reason they made Elon Musk the person of the year. They pick it on divisiveness. Of course they're going to say we're all socialists now. It guaranteed assholes like you bought a copy so you could hold it up on your show.
And they were the ones that would jump on the bandwagon defending the people who were on the Democratic side that were truly Marxist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like who?
Oh, did they just not believe that? Or have they had a...
Look at him fucking looking at the sky again. And Stu knows it. Stu knows when Glenn is struggling. Look at the look on Stu's face like, are you going to say anything meaningful or do we go to commercial? I forget how this works. Because I know I'm supposed to sell fucking paper towels or pancake syrup or something. That's why I'm wearing this dumb fucking shirt. What are you going to say? What's the word I'm looking for that isn't Marxist?
An awakening to Marxism. Were they always part of this kind of Marxist soup and they've just backed up? And
excuse me, Marxist soup is a stew. You can, and he takes it personally.
Okay, this is not going to work here. Or were they just truly a blind liberal that were just thought the party is the party and we're not Marxists?
Yeah, maybe they thought.
Yeah, and you mean you're projecting that the party that you belong to, that's why you left you joined the Tea Party because the Republican Party were a bunch of awful people because they weren't awful enough for you or something like that. Fucking hell.
Overblown. Republicans were saying these things and they're not true. And to be fair, there were a lot more on the left side that weren't Marxist. I mean, Joe Biden used to very much sound like a normal Democrat. If you go back to the 90s, you can go back to the 90s. We were talking about this with San Francisco a little earlier when it comes to crime. There's a version of Joe Biden that could do very well in this country today.
Yeah. Get used to that idea, fucko. Watch for these oh, God damn it. They're all at the point where they were literally running against Biden for the crime bill. Remember that last year? Oh, the fucking crime bill. That's why everybody's in fucking jail. Never mind the fact that the Congressional Black Caucus and all all the black mayors of large cities were for the fucking crime bill back then. And they're like, yeah, it needs some tweaks, but the overall function of it was solid. And then he runs for president against Trump and like, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him with the crime bill.
That's the version that people thought they were
voting for. Yeah. And that
is that who?
Why he got elected. And if you go back to
yes. the 94 crime bill, Biden is who people thought they were voting for, and that's why he won the primary largely with the help of James Clyburn and every black voter in three southern states. The fuck?
94, he's got the crime bill. He's trying to hold people accountable for criminal actions. Now he's...
Yeah, he mentioned that last year, and you guys said he was like, yeah, if you riot or loot, you should go to jail for it. It's not the same thing, but that's not what protesters are doing. What the fuck is the matter with you? And all of you guys were like, he's supporting rioting and burning the fuck. He might as well be wearing an Antifa temporary tattoo on his forehead.
Saying that was racist, and
yes, that's right. That's why. Thank you, Otis. That's why Diamond and Silk call him Jim Crow Joe. That came from these fuckers.
Apologize for it when that sort of action is needed most, as we're seeing in San Francisco now.
Oh yeah. So maybe you could go. Hey, I would support Joe Biden. Readdressing the crime bill. How about bring that shit up? Hey, moms, look at you making a little icon name for yourself in there. That's awesome. I appreciate that, using the emojis for good instead of evil.
So I think it's come a long way. Elon Musk. I don't know exactly where he comes from on the.
Jesus Christ, guys, do a little reading before you talk. Stop laughing at what he's saying to Elizabeth Warren. If all of a sudden you find yourself, fucking hell. This is why I showed you that picture of me and Glenn Beck yesterday on the morning show. If you watched, I was at Politicon. I was sitting at a table. Glenn Beck was sitting at the table, and I'm making everybody laugh, as I'm wont to do. And I took pictures with a bunch of people, and I got one with Glenn Beck because I thought it was fucking hysterical. And I'm like, look at this clown. But he goes like this in the shot because he doesn't know enough about me to know whether he should be smiling in a picture with me, even though I just made him fucking laugh. That should be enough, right? They're all big free speech. Comedy shouldn't be, we shouldn't cancel people. If they're funny is funny, blah, blah, blah. And I just made this motherfucker laugh at the table with everybody else. And he can't even take a smiling picture with me because he's afraid that one day down the road, somebody will go, all right, is that you with Hal Sparks? Fucking hell. Because he's a liar.
Subsidies sort of thing. He's now saying he doesn't want them for anybody, which I love. I mean, that's what
I do too. Yeah, no subsidies for anybody. Yes, oil companies. By the way, where was this made? Where's your garments? Where were they made? Going back to our conversation earlier, Stu, you look like a Walmart kind of a guy. You buy stuff from really nice places. Your suits you buy from really nice stores, but you'd never be photographed going into one. But you go to Walmart and take selfies, right? So everybody knows you're down home like fucking Huckabee. Where was your shit sewn there, Stu? You wearing Made in America garments? Let's see it.
Leave as well. However, obviously his company was built on them. I mean, Tesla was built on.
Right. He's a hypocrite. Now, Stu, look at this. You're fucking up Glenn. Both of them like, what have we done? Don't. Fuck. We quit painting us into a fucking corner. Seriously, one of them manages to wiggle out of this stupid conversation to like a safe spot where they can go, we're on team Elon. And then you're like, except for that. But, oh, shit.
That's why I wonder, is he kicking the door closed for everybody else?
Yes, he fucking is. He's a Paul Ryan Republican. Who gives a fuck? You only care because he's shitting on Elizabeth Warren. Christ.
So I don't think that's him. Maybe he just, he didn't emphasize it a lot.
Yeah, say it, Stu. Tell us again, Stu. What the fuck was that? Hold on. Good God. Oh, I've got to go on the wrong keyboard.
Maybe he just. He didn't emphasize it a lot back then, or maybe he just.
Yeah, maybe shit. Maybe he didn't emphasize it a lot back then. The fuck are you talking about? Of course he didn't emphasize it. The check had his name on it, dumbass. He didn't emphasize it back then. You mean like Trump didn't emphasize his Christianity when he had his mushroom tip in Stormy Daniels, and yet you raced the cradle his balls across the finish line? You creep. He didn't emphasize it back then. He downplayed the fact that everyone else's taxes made his company possible.
The idea that he could get his company started, I don't know. But you left out, I think, the most important part of this.
Well, that's how Glenn works. Look at Glenn. Like, please, is there a piece of information I can just look to bail me out of this? Is there any kind of detail written on my disk? It works for Don Jr. Well, shit.
Change with Elizabeth Warren, when he points out he will pay more taxes than any American in U.S. history this year. Now, Elizabeth Warren is so dumb.
Well, because he specifically sold a shit ton of his own stock because he knew he was losing the contract. So he had to sell it at a peak. So even the losses he will get from paying the capital gains tax on it, that's still better than the stock has gone down, you dumb fuck. He made money, you shitheel. He made money paying taxes versus people selling his stock and the stock price going down because the infrastructure bill supports other companies he will have to compete with, which was a portion of the wins expected in the Tesla stock, and now they're gone. Oh my God. Quick, Glenn, tell him about inflation and how printing money is a terrible thing.
She's actually criticizing a person for not paying taxes who's paying the most taxes of anyone.
No, he isn't. It's a capital gains tax, fucko. It's a single tax bill. And that's because he did it on purpose to take some wins, to take some cash off the table.
History. Has there ever been a bigger miss of a tweet than Elizabeth Warren's?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when the last time you tweeted, Stu, but I'm sure it's covered.
About it. Seriously.
Well, seeing that he's paying more taxes than anyone in history.
He's paying more than anyone in history, and she said he paid nothing. There's literally no way to miss more than she missed.
Well, it's capital gains, which is the lowest form of tax that he's going to have to pay. He doesn't have to pay, like his income taxes, he's going to pay next to nothing, if anything at all. He made that choice to do that as basically posturing, but again, as a way of effectively insider trading.
And George Washington never died because he is Satan.
I died.
What?
Again,
and that's questionable. You know, you could still question. Maybe
we can't quantify that. We can quantify the Elon Musk situation, and he, of course, followed it up with, "Don't spend it all at once." Oh wait, you did already.
That's so great.
It is true.
So great.
Well, he technically didn't because we just raised the debt ceiling to pay for Trump's debts. No? You don't think they know that?
Now, so the question is, people are waking up, but what are they waking up?
Okay, so we're getting back to the whole, it's time to realize Marxists are all over the Democrat Party. That's how he does it.
Yeah. Are they waking up and saying, conservatives are right? Or are they just waking up to the things that we've always had in common, where conservatives, the people like us, have said, guys, we didn't change. You changed. You changed. The Democratic Party is no longer fighting for what you say you believe in. They're not fighting for the Bill of Rights. They are fighting for socialism and communism and a fundamental transformation of America.
Oh, yeah, they are? Yeah. Well, would you consider not having dangerous bridges in every state a fundamental change? Would you consider eliminating child poverty by giving people money that they can spend wherever they want? Which now I understood that if it was communism or socialism, we would just build a bunch of, I guess, state-owned stores that the impoverished could go get their gruel from, and they'd wait in line like anything else. But no. The taxpayer has decided that one of the ways we can best improve the general structure of our entire economy is to make sure that children don't grow up, malnourished. For example, that's why we're for school lunches, because that guarantees they will have more brain power when they're adults, and therefore the rest of us will have better employees, better coworkers, better friends and mates. And it's not a kid's fault if they're born to an asshole. So we kind of step in and make sure that there's at least a floor there, a social safety net, as you were. But it's got the word social in it, so you think it's socialism because you're a fucking tool.
Well, I hope that they are waking up, especially to the Democratic Party thing, because do you remember it was racist to say anyone was a Marxist? It was crazy to say somebody in the Democratic Party.
Wait a minute. When was it racist to say anybody was a Marxist? Anybody was a Marxist? Huh?
Is a communist. Well, tell me what you think of this story. Senator.
Wait, no, hold on. That's I have problems with your premise there, bruh. Right out of the gate.
Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut, one of the worst people in the world.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose you would think that if the guy that you think should still be president was friends with Kim Jong-un and says he fell in love with the fucking guy, or thinks that Putin is, he's just on par with other people, even though the Germans just expelled the Russian ambassadors and a lot of their staff because they ordered a hit on the streets of Berlin, Pol Pot, throughout history, we're going to go back with it. But Richard Blumenthal,
spoke at an awards ceremony over the weekend hosted by a Communist Party affiliate whose leaders used the event to recruit potential members into the Communist Party.
Dun, dun, dun. An affiliate of the guy. So now there's affiliation. Do they buy in? Are we talking like, what's her name? Patrice Cullors from the Marxist from BLM who owned 3 houses? Or are we talking like, Hassan Abi, the $3 million house owning Marxist? Is that the kind of Marxism we're talking about? Is that an affiliate, or is it just their real estate agents were there?
Now, he's one of the wealthiest members of the Senate,
okay. So he's a wealthy communist. I see. So he's just not a very good communist. I'm an ex-drunk. I never said I was a very good ex-drunk, though.
Put that aside, because actually it's his wife. I just love a man who never really even created wealth, but is living off of his wife. It's so beautiful.
Living off. Is that how you look at your own wife? She didn't create anything. She just lives off of you. Must be such a happy home.
Blumenthal appeared even as Democratic leaders have downplayed allegations that many in the party support socialist or communist policies. So they are still saying,
What? Name the affiliate group, fucko. You're already into this story. Tell the name of it.
No,
so I can
we
look
don't
it up.
Support that. But then how do you explain Blumenthal going and speaking at the Communist Party event?
Well, it wasn't the Communist Party event. It was an affiliate, apparently, according to you, whatever the fuck that means. And also, did he get paid?
Blumenthal was introduced at the event by Lisa Bergman, a Communist Party member who blamed corporations for the imperialism that exists in our world that is undermining the labor and environment movement.
Terrible. Oh, my gosh. It's so awful. Let's hold on 1 second. I gotta, excuse you, Glenn. All right. I need to open the thing, a new window, open this guy up, move this over here. Blumenthal. This has got to be communist. That should be pretty easy. Gives communism a boost. All right. As Senator Blumenthal stands with the communist Will Felt, that's Washington Examiner. refers to Republicans as enemies of communism. Okay. Speaks at Communist Award Ceremony. Okay, this is the remarkable occasion U.S. Senators paid Communist Award Ceremony. This is what they're talking about. Hold on. This is ABC4 News. Senator Richard Blumenthal spoke at an award ceremony for labor activists and union leaders over the weekend that was hosted by a group affiliated with the Communist Party. That's kind of a bank shot, guys. Sorry. During the ceremony, Blumenthal presented certificates to 3 winners of the Amistad Award, which is given out annually by the Kinetic People's World Committee, a group affiliated with the Communist Party USA. They're affiliated, are they? Do they have a lot of... Have they or are they now ever been a member of the Connecticut bike lane developers of America? The event took place over the weekend on the occasion of the 122nd anniversary of the Communist Party USA. I am really excited and honored to be with you today and sharing this remarkable occasion, Blumenthal said at the ceremony. According to the Yankee Institute, there's a lot of work, lot to be working on for in economic justice, in racial equity, in establishing a $15 minimum wage and holding corporations accountable for the basic treatment of the American people. We need to look at our entire tax system, beginning with Build Back Better. Connecticut People's World Committee is run by Joel Fishman, who also serves as the chair of the CPUSA Political Action Commission, according to People's World. At the event, MC Ben McManus encouraged individuals to join the Communist Party as it seeks to uproot systemic racism, retool the war economy, tax the rich, address climate change, secure voting rights, and create a new socialist system that puts people, peace, and the planet before profits. According to the Yankee Institute, Blumenthal has reportedly invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in a Chinese government-linked real estate venture, according to the Washington Free Beacon, which is also who paid for the Christopher Steele dossier, by the way. Business involvement with China has come under scrutiny due to China's ever-increasing efforts to exploit its collaboration with U.S. enterprises. A spokesperson for Blumenthal reportedly said Senator was unaware he and his wife had invested in the Chinese government's linked venture until contacted by the Free Beacon. Okay, so it was in their portfolio or something? Okay. The other thing is they are, all right, the event placed on the occasion, the question is Blumenthal just there pitching Build Back Better to a bunch of people who do like government systems, and they managed to wrangle him in because it's in Connecticut, or is he a full-blown communist? The 3 winners are the Amistad Award, which is given out by the Connecticut People's World Committee. Let's see, that's the events, according to the events Facebook page. Here we go. Let's see, the Amistad Awards 22 videos from this event, previously filmed live, making good trouble. Together we rise for a hopeful future. People's World continuing the Daily Worker, Connecticut People Worlds Committee. This is Meet Your Host, the Connecticut edition of the People's World Committee. Hold on. Making good trouble. Amistad Awards, an amazing afternoon. Congratulations to all who worked so hard, the remarkable awardees, musicians, and guests. Today's awards will be live streamed at the beginning. People's World, Amistad Awards, making good trouble. Together we rise for a hopeful future, which is, let's see, hospital workers. This is a labor group, and then people who work with this. These are all like basically black constituents largely of Blumenthal's area. That's what this is. And if he doesn't show up, then they get this is dealing with your more extreme members of your constituency. Whatever. I'm sure, I love that by hanging out, by being at this award show where they celebrate labor unions, he's obviously a communist, but him owning private equity in China to make money doesn't make him a venture capitalist. Whatever the fuck.
There was another communist MC, Ben McManus.
MC Marky Marks. Communist MC. It's a group rhyme. It's very difficult to do.
Invitations at the ceremony to join the Communist Party, and I quote, "If you're not already part of the Communist Party, we invite you to participate and contribute and join. There's more and more people talking about socialism in this country as it becomes more and more clear that capitalism is not going to work for our future.
And
so tell me what's happening there.
well, I'll tell you what's happening there. Labor unions and this particular group that's aligned with them invite people to speak about big government programs, for example. Blumenthal's trying to drum up support for what he's done in the state because as a senator, he's always raising money. They probably offered him fundraising stuff. And you heard one of the other speakers in the 3-hour program cut to the footage of this guy. Whoops, why is it? I'm going to move this guy around. Cut to the footage of Blumenthal applauding and show me his Communist Party pin or shut the fuck up. Mr. I'm part of the Tea Party, but I vote Democrat anyways, or vote Republican anyways.
Can you imagine?
I kind of just did. I mean, can you imagine, for example, what would be considered a middle of the road Republican, going to, I don't know, like spending the 4th of July in Russia. Explain that, Glenn.
If
because Blumenthal's he's a Connecticut senator, what have you, but he's not the driving force of the party. He's definitely been around for a while. But you just called Ron Johnson a hero a couple of days ago.
But he said, I am definitely not part of the Klan. But then you're invited to speak at a Klan awards ceremony. And
well, no. If you're there because a group of people like that, I guess, happen to be white. It's a weird thing to mix on this, considering most of the people at this gathering seem to be black. But let's just say there's a gathering of folks, and a dude stands up and goes, "You guys should join the Klan," which is a good balance thing, whatever. And it didn't happen while you were there, but you're on the hook for it.
You speak, and when you're speaking, everybody's like, "And by the way, make sure you join the Klan on the way out." How would you explain that? Because I think that would be unexplainable. I think anybody.
Well, at this point, tell you what, you make out this U.S. Communist Party in Connecticut. You show me their hate crimes, and then I'll give you an answer.
Did that? It would be pretty hard to say, "Oh yeah, he's not Klan friendly."
And by the way, why are we not cutting to Stu right now? Is he sweating?
No way. No way. How is it that the Democrats don't care that they are now having Dick Blumenthal, a guy who's not known in the media circles as the radical? He's kind of the law enforcement kind of guy.
Who apparently owns private property as part of an investment fund in China. And then he sold it when they told him about it.
I just want to make sure that everything is running, and really buttoned up. I'm certainly not a communist. Really?
Really?
Then why are you speaking at the Communist Party award ceremony?
Well, because it wasn't the Communist Party award ceremony. It was a labor union award ceremony. And there were people from the Communist Party who were there because they support the labor union from the other side. He would be on the right side of the argument. They'd be on the left side of that argument. But in between them, the one thing they do agree on is that labor unions should exist. That would be my guess.
We have to wake our friends and family up. And
yeah, do we?
And this is why I've been saying for a while, our unum has always been the Bill of Rights. When Biden says freedom, and we're just talking about you having to get a vaccine.
Well, there's lots of vaccines you need to get. You don't have the freedom to infect other people. By the way, this is Glenn Beck saying that people who knowingly had HIV and who had sex with multiple partners without telling them because they intended to get them sick because they thought it was fake. And those people did exist, by the way. Those people shouldn't be tried for murder, attempted murder, because freedom.
Big deal. The big deal is the government doesn't have the right to tell me what to put into my body. That.
Well, apparently, they have the right to tell you what to keep in your body. If it's abortion rights, for example, you cannot interrupt cell growth that's happening without the permission of the state in Texas, and they will send vigilantes, dog the bounty hunter, right up in your hoo-ha.
The big deal. You don't have a right, so stop trying to do it. You don't have a right.
Dude, there are all sorts of... his kids are fucking vaccinated. If they go to public school, they have to be vaccinated. You don't... And by the way, you don't have to. There is no vaccine mandate. There's a testing mandate. You can get vaccinated so you don't have to deal with that shit. It's going to be over in 3 months anyways.
To force companies to make me do it. You don't.
Well, they're not. No, states and cities are doing that. That's not a federal decision, and that's a zoning thing. And the city council gives the city the right to do that or not do that. Just like in the Old West, people could, you could have the freedom to have a gun, but you had to check it at the city limits.
Have the right to do it. Today is the day that the founders enshrined the Bill of Rights. They were very important. They.
Mm-hmm. Oh, were they? Were they important because they nullified the 10 commandments, the first 3 commandments right out of the gate? Glenn, is that why? In true Judeo-Christian form, thou shalt have no other gods before me. I am a jealous God. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Honor thy father and thy mother. Those are all in the right out of the gate, man. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion nullifies those right out of the gate. It's interesting that thou shalt have no other gods before me, which is the first one, and the first of the 10 commandments, and the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, gets rid of that right out of the gate. They didn't wait until number 7.
Are. And those.
Oh, never mind. Thou shalt not kill. Line that up with the fucking Second Amendment. It didn't say thou shalt not kill unless you felt like that person was on your property without permission.
Things that brought us together, not our policies, not who we voted for, not things that we have to tax or not tax. It was the Bill of Rights.
Uh-huh.
And when you have leaders of the Democratic Party speaking at the Communist Party annual awards.
Well, that would freedom of association. That you're not guilty by association in our legal system either. So that would be in the Bill of Rights. That would be him exercising his rights. Now you can, as a representative in the state of Connecticut, you could run ads against him for showing up at that thing. You could say all you want, and he could go there and say, I'm saying my piece. That doesn't mean they get to dictate what I'm about, but I'm talking to these folks. Maybe he's trying to coax those folks away from communism towards the democratic fold. Maybe he looks for like-minded bonding areas on things like, I don't know, the Bill of Rights, for example.
You don't have people who believe in the Bill of Rights. You have people who are working with or standing with people who are undermining the Bill of Rights. And that's the one thing we should still all have in common.
Yeah. Let's go out on that one. That's boom. That's the one thing we should all have in common. Bang. Cut away from me right when I say that. I'm going to point at you right then. That's going to be awesome radio, folks. Awesome radio. That was, you can't top that, Stu. Stu? Holy shit. Stu, somebody get him a candy bar. Stu, it's going to be okay. Why is he hugging the chair like that? He's humping the chair. This is not good. Sorry, I thought a picnic table had fallen over. No, he doesn't like anything with nougat. He's very picky when he's having one of these fits. Help me out. And, oh shit, are we not at break yet? Go to break. Oh my God. Let's see. The founders also owned slave. Not all of them. A little under half, actually. Hence the whole divided country part. And the ones that did, and especially Thomas Jefferson, who presented several bills to end slavery in the colonies and then in the United States, they just took his statute down for being a slaveholder. Yeah, his concern was if they couldn't outlaw it, that if he turned his slaves loose, if he set them free, someone else would take them, because there was literally other slave owners in the area that were like, the minute they step off your property, since they're not currently free, they're mine. But nobody cares about that. That's just silly. All right. Let's get this party started. I mean, here we have, he's had someone come in and swap out the pictures with the Christmas ones or something. I don't know what this is. I think they pulled this out of his colon a couple of years ago and it's still been sitting there. He's got a half-eaten thing of Malamars. Does the Trump family only eat things in green packages? He wears the pink shirt a lot. This is the Trump Bedminster shirt or some shit like that. He wears his own merch. Baked as fuck, gnawing away at like fudgicles or some shit. Pick me up. Guys, pick me up some of those cookies. Guys. This is called, Wow, the Biden insanity never stops. Wow. Let's start it off. Here it comes. Wow, the Biden insanity never stops. Now, there will be an ad on this because the Trumps are always closing and they're always broke. Yep, there it is.
Injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Thanks. Get explosive results.
I'm just going to say it sounded like booger cycle accident.
Okay, guys, so we got to talk about...
Okay, guys, I'm going outside right now because I'm trying to do shoulders. Okay, guys, we got to talk about this right now. Okay.
Biden insanity. Biden hypocrisy.
Sorry, Biden insanity, hypocrisy. I've got it written down over here. It says Biden insanity or hypocrisy. Is this freezing up on me, or is it just it's just me looking at this? Hold on. I think I gotta shrink this down. Is it freezing on your end at all? Is it choppy? No? It's just him? It just looks weird to me? All right, good. Just checking. Guys, Biden hypocrisy. I've got it written over here on a piece of paper. Okay. Look at this. Where is his note? It's like right down here someplace. Right? No, it's right over here. It's like on my... I feel violated. What are you looking at? Guys, he just sees my hair. I'm being misgendered as we watch.
You got to watch this video. So
guys, you got to watch this insanity, hypocrisy. You got to watch this video. I'll have my thoughts on the other side. I'm not at all filling time. This is a 3-minute fucking video, and he's already looked at his notes 3 times.
Look at
that again. Fuck off with this. Dude, it's 3 minutes. This whole video is 3 minutes and 3 seconds, and most of it is a fucking video that he's going to cut to. And stop staring at my tits, you creep.
Talking about the Biden administration actually hosting a democracy summit. A democracy summit. Something that we as Americans would believe in, and you would think the Biden administration would believe in too, until they allowed Taiwan, a democracy, to put up a map of Taiwan as an open democratic society and China as not. The Biden administration flips out. You got to watch this recap.
This recap. A recap. Are we going to watch somebody else's clip from Fox News? Because they didn't have everybody put graphics up, or they moved it afterwards. Let's see.
Absolutely astonishing that they can do this. Then they cover up.
By the way, I know you're wondering at home, couldn't Trump have done a democracy summit with all the democracies, including Taiwan, and have them be involved? Yeah, he could have. But he was too busy giving Kim Jong-un a rusty trombone.
It was a technical glitch. But does anyone actually believe that? Okay.
Yes, it was a technical glitch. You look like a technical glitch. Little buddy, fuck you. Guys.
Not saying it was.
It didn't take long for little bunny fuck you to come back.
The benefit of the fact checkers. I'm not saying it was, right? Because I'll get fact checked and throw it off like the other nonsense. Like I put up an opinion piece and, oh my God, it's over.
Dude, stop talking about your fucking self. You just stated it's your opinion that you think it was a glitch. Who cares? No one cares. I'm the only person watching this bullshit.
Okay, because we don't live in as much of a democracy as we'd like to believe either. But watch this piece.
Whoa, fuck you, buddy. Wow, just shit on America 58 seconds in. He didn't even hit the 1 minute mark, and he's already shitting on America. That's impressive. That's a new record for him. That's right up there with Rudy Giuliani dropping Soros the Super G.
Watch this recap and see exactly what you think the Biden administration thinks of democracy. Because if you host a democracy summit and you act like an authoritarian dictator trying to cover and kowtow to China.
Well, I mean, obviously just having it and inviting them was the problem. China was already pissed that we invited them and recognized them as one of the world democracies. So the fact that, it was already done. I guess the way you kowtow to China would be to not hold a democracy summit because you'd have to invite Taiwan, lest people think that you were on the hook for millions of dollars in development funds from China that you were planning on getting when this was all over after your presidency, but you just didn't because you're all mad.
You need to rethink your idea of democracy.
Yes, thank you. He's been reading his Bible again. You needeth rethink. Maybe you needeth, guys, maybe you needeth rethink. Maybe you Edith Bunker your guys.
How to China? Maybe you needeth rethink your...
Maybe you needeth rethink what thou dost believe therein, my lord.
Idea of democracy, because this stuff is ridiculous. Check it out.
I want you to think about this.
Fucking hold on. Fox News, the Guy Benson show. Listen, okay, this is a recap of a recap. You can't play the original fucking footage on your own. Find it. You don't have people working for you, you broke motherfucker.
The Biden administration makes a big show out of convening a democracy.
Apparently, so just does everybody that Don Jr. knows, are they just gesticulating assholes that every time everything must be them?
Summit, great. I'm all for it. They invite.
By the way, I guess you got to add something to it, otherwise people know you're on the radio.
Taiwan, I love that. Good for them. Taiwan is a democracy. That's sending a signal. We're standing with Taiwan. We're sending a message to China. We love to see it. Now, during the
during the Trump administration, you would have loved to see it. Didn't happen. Never was even a thought. Why would he actually was too busy cozying up to dictators to convene a meeting of the Quad or convene a meeting of or create something like the AUKUS agreement with Australia and the UK and the United States. We don't have anything to weigh it against. Biden's actually doing it. Trump could have done it, never did.
Summit, the representative from Taiwan shows up and they're talking about countering digital authoritarianism, and they're discussing the openness of these societies. And on the map, she shows...
Why the fuck didn't Junior tell us this? Other than the fact that he couldn't memorize 3 sentences in a row.
Taiwan as an open society. Correct. They're a democracy. It's why they're invited in the first place to the Democracy Summit. And China in red as closed because they're a communist repressive regime and a closed society. And what the Biden administration does at this whole event designed to push back against China, they freak out that this might offend China.
All right, well, let's see them freak out. Don't tell us what they're doing. Show us what the fuck they're doing. Right? Show, don't tell. Tell, don't sell.
So at a democracy summit, they censor one of the Democratic countries by shutting down her screen literally during a panel called Countering Digital Authoritarianism. They engage in Chinese Beijing-style censorship in order to not offend the Chinese Communist Party.
Okay, I get you're asserting this. It's the second time we're kind of hearing this. We heard the cocaine version before they even started playing your clip, Fisher Price man. But I've yet to see it. Roll it.
And they do so in this absolute panic. They choked, as the source said. Then I guess at some point they looked around and said, oh, golly, that looks really bad. So then they decided to just gaslight and lie. Oh, there was a technical glitch, and the people involved said no, it wasn't.
That's it? That's the whole fucking thing. You're shitting me, right? That's the end of the video. Look at that. 3 minutes, 3 seconds. This is the entirety. Well, the Biden insanity never stops. 3 minutes of fucking nonsense. What? Okay. Hello. Do. Guys. If I put my fingers together like this, my wishes all come true. Guys. What the fuck?
Society in China is not. The Biden administration flips out.
I don't know why I felt like this fucko was going to actually play a clip of the thing happening. And he doesn't. He just plays a clip of another dude saying the same shit. How is anyone ever that high without needing Narcan? Hold on. Wait. Give me a second. This isn't... maybe it's in... He had another video in a different shirt, granted. Let me see if I can find it, because fucking hell. Christ almighty. Where are we? Scrolling back there. Yeah, here he is. Oh. And this is... Here you go. How long is this piece of shit? This is him covering the Elon Musk thing. Same notes. Also wearing merch. The cookies are still there. Still, look at this. Cookies, there's cookies still there. He changed his shirt because he was apparently... He went from working tables, I guess they have him bussing tables at Bedminster, to doing some of the plumbing. And there's going to be an ad in there. Oh, yeah. Nuge's dog treats.
You rocked bath time?
Yeah. Nuge dog treats made by...
I think we can all...
Hold on. Nuge dog treats, of course, are made by shitting your pants at an army recruitment office and smearing them on your face, I guess.
I think we can all agree on one thing, which is that Elon Musk is the best thing to happen to social media since none other than my dad, Donald Trump.
First of all, it's not good form to say my dad, Donald Trump, and then look away, because some of us aren't going to. Some of us are going to think you don't believe he's your dad. You know what I mean?
That was made apparent over the last couple of months, but especially this week, when he had a pretty amazing exchange with Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, fuck, man. He's just reading it like this little take right off a piece of paper just below, like right about here under the camera. It's just fucking get a teleprompter, you dick. This is the only way you make a living now.
If you're not familiar with who that is, you may know her.
If you're not familiar with her by her name, Pocahontas, and my dad came up with this name for her that was both racist, sexist, and stupid, and Pocahontas.
As Pocahontas. You may know her.
Oh, Pocahontas. He's not actually going with his dad's version. He's going with the, I guess, the Ben Shapiro side of things.
Sitting Bull S. You may know her
Sitting bullshit. Just say it. You don't get kicked off a Rumble for saying shit, you clown.
as Liawatha. Many of the names that she inherited and the nicknames that she earned by running around and pretending that she was Native American, even though there seems to be almost no Native American in her. Remember, if you're on the left, you...
And by the way, family story, that's where she got it from. Her family had told her this for a long time, yada, yada. Blonde, blue eyes. I would have had questions from my grandparents, but there you go.
Able to do that. You can make claims and victimhoods and create all of this kind of hubbub around your...
Can ya? You can make all of this,
having some sort of minority status, even if you have none whatsoever. And then there's...
But the question is, can you talk without pinching your fingers?
Accountability, because you can get away with it and media will come...
Oh, by the way, somebody's saying, did we t-shirt coordinate, he and I, on this one? I don't have a decal right here. He's got it. If you'll notice right here, there's a decal on his shirt. See that? Whatever right here underneath the, I don't know what that is. I will say, though, that my shirt cost $9. And I am not alleging to anyone that I am a billionaire. Our shirts are more than likely cut from the same, or stitched the same way. Some generalized store like that. But mine was $9.99. It was, so there you go.
For you, and it's not really a problem.
I also do have shoulders. So it's a different cut entirely.
Because in your heart, you identified as Native American, Liz Warren. So Pocahontas decided...
So Pocahontas is written on my paper right here. I'm reading it on the thing. We'll start off with insults. And what I'm trying to do here is ride someone else's brains like a horse. But my whole family does this thing where we hang out with people and pretend to be them. Like I don't know, like Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I mean?
Get in an exchange with Elon Musk. And let's just say she's way, way, way out of her league. She tried saying that Musk is a freeloader. Why? Because he utilizes the...
By the way, is someone playing hockey in the background? Is that a dog barking? Do you even care? Also, again, shave, dude. Like, you're doing a video. What is this business? Either grow the neck beard and go full... I don't know. I don't even know where he would start. Amish?
Tax code made by people like Elizabeth Warren, who's created...
Yes, who are also making more tax... she hasn't been in there very long, so she hasn't developed the tax code that he's been under, for example, since his company was created by government wealth in 2009.
For the United States. Who's created more jobs, more innovation? Who's paid more in taxes? Liawatha, who got paid, $400,000 or almost $500,000 to teach a one-day-a-week class at Harvard because, obviously totally worth it. Totally not pay-to-play scheme, right? That's what they do if you're in Congress and you can get...
Jealous much? I've never seen billionaires get so pissed that somebody else makes money.
With it. So he calls her out. She says, and I quote,
he says it, and I quote, yes.
Change the rigged tax code so the person of the year, because Elon Musk won person of the year. I imagine Time Magazine may want to revoke that now, but will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off everyone else. So the guy that's creating more innovation for America, probably than anyone, sending people into space, coming up with electric vehicles, employing tens...
Yes, electric vehicles are a new design that he's come up with. You've heard of electric vehicles, but electric vehicles, they all run on the urine of Cenk Uygur.
Thousands. He is the freeloader, not the senator getting paid a lot of...
Well, she's a representative. We have a salary that we pay our representatives that we, by the way, as a country voted on. by continuing to put people in there that raise it. That's
To
how it
teach
works.
a kind of a no-show gig, essentially a no-show gig or a barely show gig at Harvard. That's not the freeloader.
Well, no, actually, according to Harvard, it's not.
Elon Musk. So he replies back, "You remind me of when I was a kid and my friend's angry mom would just randomly yell at everyone for no..."
I will say for the record, this video is 2 points higher than the Glenn Beck video. If only that they put the video on the pictures on screen, points Don Jr. And cover Don Jr.'s face, which I think is worth 3 points on our regular scale.
He then follows up with the pièce de résistance, the Sistine Chapel of tweets. Elon Musk says, "Please don't call the manager on me, Senator Karen." Now, honestly, that one's going to stick. Because if anyone...
Because it's...
exemplifies the Karen mentality in government, it is Elizabeth Warren. So, sorry, Pocahontas, you're no longer going to get to use that name, unfortunately, because it is good and it is effective, and people realize just how ridiculous it is that you were able to get away with it.
Oh, so I see. She's going to be Senator Karen from now on because he did it. So I guess you're just on here to announce that your father has been dethroned as the insult asshole of the last 5 years.
But he destroys her with Senator Karen because truer words have not been spoken. She exemplifies the...
Go tell your dad that. Go tell your dad that Elon Musk outsmarted him. We'll wait.
Karen persona. She is Karen in government with power, and she wants to speak to the manager. Only problem is...
No, that... All right.
Is the manager, isn't she, guys? Well, guys, I think...
She wants to speak to the manager, but she is the manager, guys. Holy shit. Finish your cookies, do another line, and go back to work. What the fuck does he do at that place? He's at Bedminster, right? Is that where... Because that looked like the logo for Bedminster that he had, which is right over the water in New Jersey from New York City. So they spend some time over there. He rotates between like 4 backgrounds. He's still got this like 1998 computer monitor TV thing built in, which I'm always shocked there's nothing on there. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do this, just turn it on, have it on like... Have Wall Street tickers up there or some shit, right? You're a billionaire. Do the whole thing. Sell it. What a fucking goof. All right, now. This is short because it's not on yet. It's just an ad. I think it's just an ad. Mike Huckabee's Christmas in America special looks for the true meaning of Christmas. I'm excited. I know you're excited.
President, when you came into office, America had gone through a long period where people quit saying Merry Christmas. It was all happy holidays.
America also didn't have weird bokeh filters going on in the background. Look around the sides. What kind of fucking...
Gone through a long period where people quit saying Merry Christmas.
What kind of iMovie bullshit is this?
It was all happy holidays. You deliberately changed.
That's right. They were including Jews. they were saying happy holidays because they think the holidays go from Thanksgiving through Christmas to New Year's, and during the middle of it include Jews and people who celebrate Kwanzaa and, I don't know, some witches and their winter solstice bullshit. I don't know. Well, they stopped saying Merry Christmas and started saying happy holidays. What kind of... Jesus would fucking be pissed.
And openly said, Merry Christmas, we're going to say it again.
By the way, we still say it. We just say other stuff too.
How was that part of my campaign, Mike? You know, the country had stuff.
There you go. There you go. It was part of my campaign. It was all sales. It was all bullshit. It was never anything he genuinely meant. It was there's no two ways about it. Let me tell you what, this was a kind of a, I wanted to take a chance if I could right now and just say, Merry Christmas to you, Mr. President. I like your yellow tie. I mean, I think it's bold of you, considering people keep saying you didn't have the guts to get out of Afghanistan, that you were yeller, and then you come out, I'm wearing the yellow tie. Look, call that yellow, which it is yellow. I wanted to point that out. But it's more like, maybe it's gold. Is that pure gold? Is that real gold? Are you that rich? I noticed you got them French squigglies all over the walls. That's a sure sign that you're rich. I mean, if it was lit better, it would look kind of gold and flashy. It does look like someone took a cake decorator full of shit and smeared it on your walls, but real nice like.
With this woke, I guess a little bit before that.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, that was pre-woke. We had a woke alarm and we snoozed it.
Embarrassing for stores to say Merry Christmas. You see these big chains, they want your money, but they don't want to say Merry Christmas. And
don't miss the Newsmax special.
Oh, don't worry about it a fucking second there, buddy. I'm not going to miss this. I have a question. I noticed Mike had a beard. Are we all growing beards for this thing? You know, because Trump can't grow a beard. He won't allow himself to grow a beard. Yeah, he thinks men who have beards are weak or something like that. It's like a sickness. It's how you cover bad skin. Now that I think about it, at his age, perhaps a beard would do him well. He'd kind of look like a blonde lumberjack who has a walk-on in Anchorman 3.
Mike Huckabee's Christmas in America with President.
That's great. It's wonderful. They do a version of the Christmas Carol backwards, where it starts off with the guy liking kids and liking animals and buying turkeys and all that kind of shit. And he's visited by 3 ghosts during the night. Jeffrey Epstein, who else? Roy Cohn, and the third guy is it's Trump's presidency. The ghost of presidencies past comes in there, and they all scare the shit out of him. And the next morning on Christmas Day, he's mean as a snake. It's really good. It's the way it should be. America's for the winners.
John Voight, Dr. Ben Carson.
John Voight? Holy hell, John Voight, buddy. I haven't seen him since I bought that viewfinder that I got as a kid with of Deliverance. They used to flick through that thing like crazy. It was so much fun.
Sanders Huckabee and many more. Find airtime.
Oh my God. How did he manage to get Sarah Sanders Huckabee? She doesn't sound like filler at all. Maybe he got her phone number from Trump or something. I think she used to work for him. You know, if she doesn't return your calls there, Mike, you can talk to this fella right over there. He'll help you out.
For this special at newsmax.com/Christmas.
So they don't, you can't put the time it's going to air on the clip. You got to put that, because I don't have interwebs. So now I got to go down to the fucking library again. Oh, the ghost of Herman Cain. He's the one who visits him in the chains in the beginning. That's really funny. Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff, man. I'm going to enjoy it. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, God. Yeah, watching it on Christmas. Yeah. Because nothing says, the spirit of... Oh, and by the way, wait a minute. This still has more to go?
And make sure you watch Mike Huckabee's Christmas in America, only on Newsmax, America's fastest growing cable news channel.
It's the only thing that makes family.
Oh, I see. They're cutting Huntington on sport. Oh, this is down near the aquarium in Huntington.
A family is when you have a Thanksgiving, giving thanks. But the best of it all is to be able to give the best gift of all, which was Jesus Christ.
Merry Christmas.
Well, yeah, but you don't have the ability to give Jesus Christ. That would be something God would have to do. You don't give someone Jesus Christ on Christmas. I understand where you're going, ma'am, but it's weird.
America. Merry Christmas, America.
Merry Christmas, America.
Right on.
Merry Christmas, America.
Merry Christmas, America.
We need revival.
Merry Christmas, America.
Merry Christmas, America.
Merry Christmas, America.
It says in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. That's Christmas for you. And now, abide hope, faith, and love. The greatest of all three is love. That's the definition of Christmas.
Oh, holy shit! These assholes sure are singing. Night Diva. This guy doesn't look like he would lure kids into a van under the pretense of being a youth pastor at all. Oh no, I forgot all the words again.
We know Santa Claus is coming.
How you doing?
What is the true meaning of Christmas? Governor Huckabee shares.
What is the true? Well, it wouldn't be Santa Claus, I'm guessing. He'd be sort of ancillary, considering he was a pagan character and a saint, a man who was sainted for, being kind to children and that kind of thing. Was not necessarily. Oh boy.
Secret, and even President Trump joins in. Don't miss.
Oh well, it was going well until then.
Newsmax special, Mike Huckabee's Christmas in America.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing.
No, Emma, I did not. I most certainly did not just watch Newsmax TV. I watched a weird ad for a Christmas special, and you couldn't even list when it's fucking on. I'm very disappointed. You want to give me a gift? Let me know when your ads will include actual details. You jerk. All right, so here it is. So our dear friend Dan Bongino, who's looking for a teepee for his bunghole. This will be my last thing, and I'll let you guys go. And then I will see you guys Saturday for the radio show, and then, of course, Monday for our regular show. Again, I'll try to do my morning show as well. If I can pull myself away from family and friends, if you must. Yes, she and I go to the same hairdresser. I do this just to upset Dan Bongino. Bongino, this has got to be, let's see. Kamala Harris's clueless speech is just unbelievable. This has got to be the video of the day. Kamala says two things that are just knee-slapping hilarious. Okay, well, let's hear it. Here we go. This is going to be knee-slapping hilarious from Dan Bongino, who is looking for a teepee for his bunghole.
Ensure that electric vehicles are affordable for everyone.
This has got to be the video clip of the day. She says two things.
Well, yeah, that's what it says in your don't repeat stuff. Or did they just did they transcribe what you're saying through digital means and then just put it in the, I don't know. I just can't even.
Two things that are just knee-slapping hilarious. Number one, she says, families are stretched thin. Now, why is that? It's not funny because families are stretched thin. It's funny because families are stretched thin because of the inflation they're causing by printing more money to...
Hi, dumb fuck. Okay, do we have to go down this road again? We don't have inflation because we are, quote unquote, printing money. We have inflation because Americans have more money and we're pushing ourselves to the front of the line to buy gifts and goods ahead of everyone else in the whole fucking world. And so people can charge us a premium for those very same things. We also have a percentage rise based on numbers going below zero last year, especially when it comes to gas. So no, quantitative easing and the effects that the Fed has been doing, or even the bills that have just been passed where no money has entered the financial markets at all from this shit yet, from the infrastructure bill, is not why the price of shit is going up. The availability of it, the price of workers, there's some other stuff as well. But then, of course, Dan Bongino wants everybody in the country to work for $2 because it's what he thinks you're worth.
And that we don't have. And then she says, despite the fact that families are stretched thin because they caused it, She goes, don't worry, we're lowering the price on. And then she goes through a list of items, food, healthcare, cars, that literally Santelli just in the last segment was like, they're all going up at record rates.
No, they went up record rates from last year because we were in a pandemic lockdown. Everything went down at a record rate. Oh, the audio's low? I don't know why it does this on each one now. What's the auto set? Sorry. There you go.
What
Back
is
up.
it about
Back up.
She goes, don't worry, we're lowering the price on. And then she goes through a list of items, food, healthcare, cars, that literally Santelli just in the last segment was like, they're all going up at record rates.
No, they also went down at record rates last year because no one was going anywhere, especially fuel costs. And that's why fuel costs are going up. And that's why it's causing other things to go up. That's worldwide, has nothing to do with U.S. policy at all.
What is it about being a leftist? Don't worry, though, folks.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's the whole thought. You had to edit around that?
Everything's good. Joe, no worries. Kamala Harris is getting ready to give away more money if you want to buy a very expensive electric car, because it's not like giving away more taxpayer money you don't have. Therefore, printing it is going to cause an inflation crisis to chase more products we don't have in a supply chain crisis. Kamala Harris has it figured out. You're in an inflation supply crisis. Just print more money to help people go buy expensive electric cars they don't need.
Well, no, we're subsidizing them in our market so that we can get to the front of the line on these things. But we did this with Tesla and it worked. It was profitable. The money isn't just to go pay for these things. The companies that borrow this money have to pay it back, and the U.S. taxpayer makes money on this exchange.
Yep. No, that's not happening. No, it is. Here, check this out.
The President and I know that families are stretched thin, and we take that seriously. And we have designed this bill to help everyday folks who just need a little bit more support. So we are lowering the costs of everything from child care to health care, from prescription drugs to electric vehicles. Our Build Back Better Act will cut the sticker price of new electric vehicles made in America by union workers by up to $12,500. And it will also include, and this is a new approach, a tax credit of up to $4,000 for used electric vehicles.
Listen to all those idiots who think a tax credit isn't free money. For money they don't take from you is money that's being printed. They don't even recognize that a tax credit is money they give you in credit for taxes you would have paid. The money they're not taking from you if you spend it on something that's better. All right.
That electric vehicles are affordable for everyone.
This has got to be the video clip of the day. She says two things there. Two things.
Hi, dumbass. You've said that already.
They're just knee-slapping hilarious. Number one.
I know that you've also asserted that in the title.
He says, families are stretched thin. Now, why is that? It's not funny because families are stretched thin. It's funny because families are...
Sorry, we're replaying the top of this, so you play a clip from the inside of this clip that's 4 minutes long at the top of this clip?
Stretched thin because of the inflation they're causing by printing more money to spend that
we watched this already. You only use... Oh, fuck. Why am I teaching YouTube to assholes like this? You only put this is, if you hang around near the end, you'll see this cool part. This is what I'm going to get to, but watch the rest of it on a 10-minute plus clip. 20 usually.
Don't have. And then she says, despite the fact that families are stretched thin because they caused it, she goes, don't worry, we're lowering.
Sorry, they caused it.
Price on. And then she goes through a list of items, food, healthcare, cars, that literally Santelli just in the last segment was like, they're all going up at record rates.
Yeah, did Santelli mention they all went down at record rates last year because no one was using them specifically?
What is it about being a leftist? Do you ever, at any point, in your sad, sorry existence, listen to this and go, I don't know. Maybe they're full of crap this time. Do you ever do that?
No. Every time I listen to you, I go, he's full of crap this time. It happens every time we watch a clip from yours. And it's amazing to watch Dan Bongino watch something else and then see it filter through his fucking head. Because again, you don't print money for a tax credit on a vehicle that nobody buys. So if somebody buys it, you give them a break on taxes they might pay. But if that person doesn't actually make that amount of money or something, even then, if they get an extra $1,000 off of that price that they keep, let's say they do incentives at car dealerships and they're like $4,000 for a used one, for example, even that money ends up going back into the economy right away. Or supports the thing. So you end up buying the used car and then you got $1,000 left over. Most people will buy a charger with that, for example, do a lot of their own home charging. That leads to more people getting solar panels. That leads to more, less weight on the electrical grid. It's super fucking simple. But we just watched this asshole explain that the Build Back Better bill, which has not passed yet, is somehow going to raise money because they're going to print money by doing this. And that the debt that they take on for the Build Back Better plan will not actually make money over time, which it absolutely will in an educated populace and all kinds of other reasons.
We're lowering the prices. She goes through a list of items where prices are at historic, unprecedented highs.
No, they are not. The percentage change from last year is historic, but not compared to other points in history. Well, it's one of the markers in history. But like in, say, 1982, which is what most people are referencing as far as overall inflation, it was at 14%, almost double what we're going through. And there was no pandemic the year before.
Yeah, Guy wants to know if that's why our approval rating is at -0.8. I don't know. I don't know. I just... all right. Let me get to my second sponsor. And then another, folks, coming up.
Wait a minute, that's the extent of this whole thing.
Another prediction came true.
This is the knee slapper.
You thought like, oh, you know what? I'll stick with my email list. I'm not going to use Facebook and Twitter. They censor free speech, which they do. ScrewTube. Nope. New York Times giving a wink and a nod that we better start censoring email next. I told you. I did this show, 6 months ago? I promise you. The thing about communists...
We think about communists. We know you're a paranoid paint huffer. We get that.
They got to do communist stuff because they're commies. So the way commies do...
all right, that makes sense. The communists got to do commie stuff because they're commies. Sure.
Because they slowly push the envelope every time.
You just heard the damn...
That's it. Fuck, man. That's the whole segment. That's what he put. Kamala Harris's clueless speech. It's just unbelievable. She's pushing the Build Back Better plan. It's got elements in it that will lower the cost of prescription drugs, for example, very, very simply. And that's not something that's caused by inflation. They literally are driving down the price of insulin, for example, and that's in the Build Back Better plan. That is something that allegedly Bongino, in the past anyways, would be for. In theory, this asshole would be for that. He's not for it now because his perceived enemies are for it. Not because it's communism, but because it's them, not us. Now, could Trump have gotten this through if he'd have worked with Mitch McConnell and structured it so that there was even just insulin? Probably could have gotten it through. But Democrats would have signed on to it as well because it's a pretty bipartisan issue. But the Republicans, under Trump especially, cannot look to ever be sharing the stage with Democrats. So any of that stuff was done under the table, anything that they co-signed or was bipartisan, and Trump ignored it. And this would have made too much news. So they couldn't do anything huge that was bipartisan because people on his side would think he was being a sellout. So there you go. And we're way over. So I'm just going to go with this. Hi. Signing off. I will miss you guys tomorrow. I genuinely will. I'm excited about, the weekend and seeing my family and all that kind of stuff. But, I'll miss you. Shit, I'll miss you. Tell you what, buddy, I'm already crying. You guys are so sweet to me with your super chatting and your subscriptions and stuff like that. Don't forget to sign up right now. Go to fwank.com, FWANQ.com, and become a full-blown member. That doesn't sound good, but it also kind of does. And I'll see you guys coming up real soon. You know what? You got a pretty mouth. I'm just saying. Are you John Voight? How you doing? Thank you, Diana. And Tojo, 2H Show Live, thank you for the gift subs. Thank you so much. Thank you, Luis.